Now when I say lacrosse, you probably don't picture Jim Brown. In fact, I'd bet you pictured some rich white kids playing some preppy sport up in the Hamptons. But the history of lacrosse is very different from what the modern day image might suggest. Lacrosse is deeply rooted in the Native American culture. While the modern game of lacrosse comes from the Haudenosaunee in upstate New York and Canada, most Native American tribes have some form of the game. They believe that lacrosse was a gift from the Creator, played for his enjoyment. However, it's considered more than just a game. Regularly referred to as the medicine game, Native people played it both to help the physical and spiritual healing process. Additionally, they played it to settle disputes and even to prepare for war. Games had no defined field of play, and goals could be a couple of 100 feet apart or even miles apart. They could have up to several hundred players and could last as much as a couple of days. In 1636, a French Jesuit missionary observed the natives playing a game he termed lacrosse due to the sticks used to play the game resembling the staff carried by bishops. The modern game of lacrosse resembles a combination of hockey, basketball, and soccer. It is a full-contact, fast-paced, and highly skilled game, often referred to as the fastest game on 2 feet. The game is played on a field roughly the size of a football field with 10 players to a side. The game isn't the only thing that has evolved over the years. So too has the equipment used. Gone are the wooden sticks of yesteryear, replaced with plastic and aerospace grade metals. Helmets, gloves, and padding were also introduced and refined over the years to keep players safe while playing. It is safe to say that the natives, first observed playing in the 1600s, would hardly recognize the game we play today. Today, lacrosse is the fastest growing sport in the country and boasts 2 professional leagues. The MLL, or Major League Lacrosse, which plays the standard field game, and the NLL, or National Lacrosse League, which plays an indoor variation in hockey rinks called box lacrosse. Both versions of the game also have world championships every 4 years. And at the 2014 World Lacrosse Championships in Denver, Colorado, 38 countries participated, representing all 5 continents. While the game continues to grow into an international game, it has maintained its roots as a game of medicine. I grew up playing every sport I could imagine. Basketball, football, baseball, soccer, wrestling, etc., etc. And there's just something about lacrosse. It gets in your veins. It sticks with you. After nearly 15 years of playing at various levels, I began coaching while stationed at Keesler Air Force Base in Biloxi, Mississippi. I had never really wanted to coach, but I was anxious to remain involved with the game and happened to live across the street from the only team in the entire state. What I found was that the medicine lacrosse provided wasn't exclusive to those playing on the field. Being able to mentor, teach, and coach was something I didn't know my life was missing. So when it came to shadowing for this class, I knew I wanted to explore coaching at the collegiate level. So I contacted Coach John Torpy, the head lacrosse coach at High Point University. Coach Torpy was extremely gracious, allowing me to come and shadow him and his staff for an entire day. They encouraged me to ask questions and even allowed me to walk around on my own and explore the facilities and talk to the players. I arrived at the Witcher Athletic Facility at 6 in the morning and met Coach Torpy and his staff. Practice started promptly at 6:30. After practice, I was allowed to sit in on the captain's meeting. Coach Torpy and his staff used this time to communicate with the team leaders about their expectations, any issues or needs the team had, and plans for how to run the upcoming captain's practices. After that, we went back to the office and the staff began editing film from that morning's practice, while Coach Torpy made some recruiting calls. During this time, players filtered in and out of the office with various questions, requests, and even a few disciplinary meetings. After lunch, Coach Torpy had a one-on-one session with a player who was looking to improve his game. Then we sat down and I was able to ask him about his philosophy, what he would look for in a potential assistant coach, and how he thought I could best get my foot in the door of collegiate coaching. I then ended the day by sitting in on 2 separate film sessions. Much like the freshmen getting their first taste of Division I lacrosse, I felt like a kid being thrown into the deep end of the pool. The pace of practice was intense and overwhelming. Also, I'm not a morning person myself, and I initially thought that this was entirely too early for practice. But after talking to a couple of players, I realized that Coach Torpy had used early morning practice strategically. Early practice allowed the team to practice at their highest level of energy. And with 3 other teams also vying for field time, 6:30 a.m. practices gave them unfettered access to the facilities. Additionally, it got it out of the way so that players could then focus on school. And finally, it kept guys out of trouble by ensuring that they got to bed early so they could get up for practice. All of Coach Torpy's decisions were calculated, well thought out, and strategic. When I asked Coach Torpy about his coaching philosophy, he responded by talking about wanting to help his players become complete people both on and off the field. His holistic approach to coaching his players was evident in his desire to help his players not just for the 4 years they were at High Point University, but for the 40 years after they graduated. You could see how much his players meant to him and that he was willing to bend over backwards to do anything to help them. There were times, however, when his coaching style might seem to belie that fact. Coach Torpy seamlessly shifted between all 3 coaching styles as was needed. For the majority of the time I spent at High Point University, Coach Torpy fell into the category of cooperative coaching, allowing his players to grow and even make decisions within the framework he had laid. But when the need arose, he could easily move into the command style to take over and instruct. The interesting thing about these moments were that they were never personal, and as soon as the moment that required the command style had passed, he easily transitioned back to cooperative. He never carried anything over from one drill to another. Additionally, there were times when he could slip into the submissive coaching style when he just wanted the guys to have some fun, relax, and get some reps in. All in all, I consider myself lucky to have had the opportunity to spend the day with Coach Torpy and his staff. I learned so much, and I appreciate them allowing me to come in, hang out, and ask a bunch of questions. They went out of their way to accommodate me, which they didn't have to do, so I want to thank Coach Torpy and his staff at High Point University.
Time! Room! Save! Both them! Oh, you got contact! They're going to let him play!
Not all saves are created equal. That location made his job easy, but no save. And look at the effort on the closeout. Are you kidding me?
Now to Cloutier. Kelly's going to step into it. No. Skip past to Cloutier. It's over!